Good day, viewers. You welcome once again to Compassionate TV, a pet project of Compassionate Outreach Ministry, preaching, a teaching, a praying, and a caring church. Today we are discussing something very relevant and very important, and it has to be on domestic violence and COVID-19 and domestic violence. We find out that recently the rate of violence in the homes is escalating because of the tension and because of the friction. Before now, the husband and wife could walk out to clubs, gym, and evening rides. But since all this intervention of COVID-19 began, all those privileges disappeared. Now the man, either he wants it or not, has to be at home morning 8 a.m. to p.m. The woman too, after taking care of the children, men have to be at home. It's good enough. But the other side of it is that the friction is generating some nagging behavior as resources are dwindling. Maybe the money the man normally bring home is not coming forth again, and the way is normally escaped to wind up is not, the avenue is also closed. We've seen violent behavior, beating here. We've seen one not too long ago in Shasha where one lady was brutalized and badly was beaten badly, and many others are coming. I don't know how many homes have gone to visit them and to intervene in recent times, and that suggests that something has to be done about domestic violence, and that's what we are looking at on this studio this day. And we are privileged to have on the studio a woman of many parts, the president of Compassionate Outreach Women's Society, a civil servant, a woman that has too many parts, like I said, a multi-vocational, multi-engaged individual, a sporting individual, or an Olympiad, and a serial medalist. A serial medalist who, by the grace of God, is also the president of the Nigerian Taekwondo Association. Federation. Nigerian Taekwondo Federation. She has traveled wide. She has gone for courses, and she's also one of the women to talk about in the country today. We are privileged to have on studio dear sister, like I said, the president of Compassionate Outreach Women's Society. That's in person of Mrs. Margaret BINGA. You're welcome, madam.
Thank you, sir. Nice. Thank you for having me in your studios.
Thank you very much. Your host is Reverend Oyediji, as you all know. And we want to set the ball rolling. Madam, why do you think what do you understand by this domestic violence? And what's the understanding, particularly in Nigerian setup? What do you understand by this domestic violence?
Well, domestic violence, a lot of us tend to think that domestic violence is just hitting and bullying and all stuff. It goes beyond that. The domestic violence can be emotional, physical, psychological, sexually, and economically. And with the pandemic, because we are looking at it from the point of now that the pandemic is here, that the husband and the wife have nowhere to run to. They have to stay in there with their children. Takes all the complaint, and so the anger, the pressure tends to mount up this particular point in time, because usually you're not there, you're at work. Maybe it's just the mother at home, or either way, maybe the father at home, because domestic violence does not only tends to be for the women at all. Even the men too are also violated domestically. But when you check the statistics, it's 1 in every 4 women or 3 women, and then 1 in every 10 men or 7 men. So it's a women thing. But in this part of the world, I think the women tends to have take the more brunt of the issue, because the society in which we are coming to is a society where the African society, the woman tends to just take it. You are married, you are there with your husband, sit down, you sit down. Don't do this, just sit down like that. Even you are dying with your talent without, and when you try to, it seems as if you're trying to challenge your husband, or you're trying to challenge them. And so, and with this pandemic that you have to, because maybe throughout your life you've been married, this is the only point in life that you have found yourself in the same house with your husband, with your children, 24/7 over a period of time. Let me just give it 1 week without you people going anywhere, because there's a lockdown. Where do you go to? You stay. This is when this pandemic has been able to, how will I say, make up a lot of marriages, build up a lot of homes. Everybody is naked. You know your partner so well. Women who cannot cook, you can't pretend again that you cannot cook. You just have to cook. If you are lazy, maybe because your husband goes out, you bring in somebody to do the work for you, and when he comes in, he feels that you're now nobody, you have to do it yourself. And those are the things that tends to bring out this anger in the man. And he turns that the demands are much, the woman is not doing anything, the pressure from the children is there, and the next thing is he just pound on the woman, and she becomes his, where he pours his anger to. And that is what is really, really causing this. Another thing, women are not able to speak out for a very long time. They can't speak out. Women need to speak out. You need to be confident in somebody. You need to have somebody that you can't talk to. Likewise the men too. So like I say, it's a win-win thing. It's not only the men, the women that are abused domestically. It's a two-way thing. And it's not only emotionally and physically. I listed them. There are couples of ways women can be domestically abused, but the one we tends to see physically is a physical violence that is melted upon women.
So, madam, you look at is the violence against the women alone? Well, these days, I read online recently 20 women who killed their husband.
Yeah.
And I now begin to feel there's a shifting from men killing their wives, and now it's wives killing their husband. How do you think the world is breeding some more violent women than men? And if we are having the population of violent women growing to such a magnitude, do you think there's a quick need for an intervention of how to make women, less violent?
I think it has to, sir. It has to do with the society. It's a home thing. We, the parents, we need to go back to the drawing board. This violence have lived with us for over a couple of times, years, generation before now. Yes, the news of women killing up their husband, it's been happening, but it's just like the society or the world has not really focused on that aspect. But a lot of men also die silently because they are domestically abused by their wives. And that is why we need to go back. You can't do it as human being. As a human, you have to acknowledge that you have a God. There is God who controls each one of us, who we believe, and who is also the author and finisher of our faith. Because if you want to do it based on your own human capacity and knowledge, you will be drifted away.
Okay,
sir, sorry, I'm not cutting you, sir. We have the domestic violence, yes, and we have conflict in marriage, which is a natural thing. For you to coexist with somebody from a different background, and you are from a different background, grown by different parents, you are all coexisting, then you can't rule out violence, conflict in marriages, for your ability to understand yourself, because no marriage is perfect, but you need to know yourselves before you go to agree to marry your partner, you need to know your partner very, very well. You need to know your partner very well. And it is when you people don't know yourself very well, you don't know your do's and don'ts, or you pretend. Some people are desperate because they just want to get married, they just go in there without knowing and without preparing to just tolerate or sit there and make their marriages work. So once you want to get married, you should be ready that whatever, because if you are in a relationship or you are courting, definitely during your courtship there's a tendency to know that the person you are courting will either abuse you when you finally settle down or not. So from there, you need to now decide, do I want to continue in this? Because once you are courting and a man slaps you or a woman slaps you, know that even if you go into that marriage, it will continue that way. They can never change.
I think you are very correct. I agree with you that most of the things we see in marriage, there's always this a flash of them that could suggest what may happen, but they say love is blind. So maybe the blindness of love makes some people to enter into problem themselves. Now, if you have to be more specific in this interview,